Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.
What's up, informers? Welcome to Accidentally Informed, where
we can't guarantee that you'll learn something, but you're always going to have a great time.
I'm Claudia Jordan with my girl, Erica Cobb, looking really, really beautiful. What's up, friend?
How are you doing, friend? I am so proud of you. We'll get into it, but I am just so proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of you because last week we had our very first live, and you and your team, your production company, Comeback Productions,
Comeback TV
Productions did their thing. We had a live event in Denver, and it was amazing. Erica, did you have a favorite part of the show? I know clips are starting to go out, and people getting their entire life. What was your favorite part of the show?
Oh my gosh, it's really hard to pinpoint. But I just love, one, Dustin Ross was our guest, and the fact that he came out and it's really lovely because y'all have such a great friendship, and to be able to fit into the conversations in that way is just such a treat for me. And it people were just so excited. And so I would have to say just being in on that conversation or those conversations with y'all was just amazing.
Well, at this point, y'all are friends too. You know, you've hung around, you've came and supported his show, you did all of that. So you're not an outsider, and he loves you. He absolutely adores you. I just keep telling Carlos, I'm we need you to be around too. But we all need to be around at some point and hang out and do it in New York or do it in DC or just something.
I would love that. I actually I watched the live last night for Monday Night Live with Carlos King, and y'all together is just just next level. But I caught all of that, and I was laughing so hard because you guys were talking about, Denver at the end and the experience and stuff. So that was great. Also, I do have to make a quick note, and I want to get your favorite part too, that for informers who are looking for the live, so you may have noticed last Wednesday, apparently a lot of content creators were having issues streaming live. So we were affected by that as well. That's why we started a little later than anticipated. And we actually completely produced the live, taking it from the stream. So we have a complete production. However, there are some things that are happening on the back end. So we are holding the video component. However, you can get the full podcast. It's available anywhere that you're listening to your podcast. But when you hear, if everything goes according to plan, you're going to be pleasantly surprised at where you'll be able to find it. So just so you know.
This is something I don't know, so I can't wait to find out as well. So informers, we will all be informed as well, and I want to be surprised. So I want to be surprised with the informers. So
you kind of know, you just may have not have put two and two together. So so we're figuring that out, but we're releasing clips because we want to give you a little taste of what happened that night. But Claudia, what was your favorite part?
The Stephen A. Smith story was funny. And for me, we kind of, we went in a little bit. So the next day I left to New York after we did the show in Denver, right? And I went and did the Tamron Hall show, which will air tomorrow. When I arrive at the studio and get off the elevator, guess who is right there? Stephen A. Smith.
No.
And I was like, do I want to say something to him and ask for a picture, or do I want to keep it moving? And I was kind of in a rush, so I didn't even say anything. I just had my sunglasses on. So it was he probably, when he walked by, was like, wait, was that? And I was like, yeah. And I kind of just went to my dressing room. But I was like, damn, I should have said something to him.
Oh my Lanta.
Of all the people that was compared to the plant from Rocky. What was the movie?
It's Little Shop of Horrors. That's what Dustin called him. And I was so tempted to just bust out in Suddenly Seymour. Because Seymour is that was one of my favorite songs. I'm a musical girly. So you name a musical, I'll just start singing a song.
Well, he was right. That happens to me all the time, Erica. I'm somewhere I'm not supposed to be. Like, I remember one time, like a walk of shame. And when I left, I was like at the valet, right? Hotel. And who do I see? Kevin Frazier from Entertainment Tonight, him and his wife. I had gone to a wedding and then whatever, one thing led to the next with someone. Okay. So anyways, in the, like my walk of shame at the valet at like this hotel in LA back in the day, I see Kevin Frazier and I look disheveled in my bridesmaid's dress or whatever. And he's like, hey, it's my wife. He's like, what are you doing here? I said, yeah, it's obvious what happens here. And he was like, good talk. At the time, I was working for his company, I think. I was doing like little entertainment like pieces and stuff. Yeah, it looked a hot mess.
That is, yeah. I mean, but I've never had that happen like in a situation like that. Generally, it's like I've talked a lot about someone who is trending, and then I run into them like on the red carpet. They're looking at me, and I'm like, do they know?
Yeah,
Are they upset?
Right.
And
Yeah.
I can't help, like, I don't like to keep, like, I just say what's on my mind. So I'll just be like, yeah, I really had to go in on you about blah, blah, blah. And half the time they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, great. So let's just keep it moving.
And then they go back and look, and next time they see, they're like,
Yeah, I always tell them myself, I can't help it. I just can't.
Please tell us all right now, since I exposed myself. Have you ever been caught or seen on a walk of shame? Of course, before you were married. Like, has anyone ever spotted you on a walk of shame, like a relative or friend of your parents, or just getting caught like leaving a Vegas hotel with a short dress on and heels at like 7 a.m.?
Not a walk of shame, but I had a friend who played in the NBA, and in between, like after my divorce, so it was about 2 years before anyone really knew that I was divorced, because I just never, like, I wasn't on a platform at that time. I didn't post it on social media. So I was with a new man in Vegas, and I ran into my friend who was a basketball player, and he knew my ex. And so he was like, hey. And I'm like, hi. And we had this whole conversation, and he just kept looking over like, who he?
So he's thinking you're cheating.
Probably.
Not his boy. And you're like,
Yeah. I mean, that would be the deductive reasoning. I'm sure he went on my Instagram to see like what was going on. But yeah. And I was just like, so
that is hilarious. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Well, again, I'll talk more about it later about the Tamron Hall show that will be on tomorrow.
Yes, you look amazing. We saw the photo on your Instagram. I am just like, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
This makes me so happy for so many reasons. I know we got to get going to the story, but Tamron was on NBC when I was on CBS radio in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And to see her trajectory, and now like, and with the two of you together, and I know you were talking a little bit behind the scenes, and it just makes me so happy. So tomorrow that airs. So everyone make sure that you watch the Tamron Hall show.
Yeah. And she kept her word. I met her a while ago. Whoopi Goldberg there was an event that Whoopi Goldberg was at, and I went and I started talking about participating in an adult prom, like a fundraiser to raise money for this, to help out as many prom attenders, high school students as we could. And she was like, look, I don't like a lot of crowds, but I won't be at that, but I will support. And she kept her word. So I got to give props to anybody that actually follows through. And when I would drop the ball, she would have her people reach out. And before I knew it, I was booked on the show, and they reached out to my management and they made it happen. And they actually reached out to 2 agencies to really make sure it happens. So that means she really meant what she said and said what she meant. And we don't only discuss the prom. We talk about Accidentally Informed. We talk about the movie Run. And yeah, we show, so I really can't wait for you to see it. And it went by, the audience was so welcoming and made me feel so good. Like, I'm like, y'all know me? Like, I'm always like them. Like, wait, y'all y'all clapping for me. Like it just felt really good. It really did. It did.
Of course. Child, it's like you don't even know who you are. Informers, please inform her of who she is.
I don't know. I don't think it. I just don't. Maybe it's best I don't. All right, time to get some stories. J.Lo is making headlines for saying she has never been loved. That's what she said on the Howard Stern show. Take a look.
Do you think you've truly been loved?
No.
No. And do you think you really have experienced loving someone?
Yes.
You have?
Yeah.
And when you can't get that love back?
What I learned, it's not that I'm not lovable. It's that they're not capable.
They can't love.
They don't have it in them.
All right. Well, one of her ex-husbands is calling BS on social media posts. He said, "Stop putting us down. Stop putting me down with your victim card. The problem is not us, not me. The problem is you. You're the one who couldn't keep it in your pants after 6 engagements and 4 marriages. Who really is the problem here?" Now, Erica, I was only married for 4 months. It took a year to get out of it, and I had it annulled. You were married and you're married now. You're more of an expert on marriage. I got the trial package, like the 7-day free. And then you have to, after that, you got to pay for the subscription. I opted out before the 7 days was up. What say you? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess I've been married for 16 years total. Only 9 of them count. So no, I'm just being funny with that. So I think that there's 2 things that are happening here, and people love to drag J.Lo or anyone who has had multiple marriages. When you are very young and you make the decision to get married, that can be coming from a lot of different areas. A lot of times, sometimes you do find the love of your life. I mean, if you're one of those very special few who falls in love and stays with your high school sweetheart for the rest of your life, God bless. Like, I have nothing disparaging to say about that. But we have to be honest. A lot of times when people get married on the younger side, it's because of trauma. It's because of trying to escape their families. There's a lot of other factors that happen that feel like love because it's very convenient and it fits in that era of your life. But you are constantly finding yourself, especially, even before the age of 40, I feel like you're really on a journey to find yourself. So I would argue, is it that her exes were incapable of love, or was it that they were incapable of loving her where she was and the transitions that she was making? Because in order to be a growing person in community or in matrimony, you have to be with another growing person. So that's where things get a little complicated. I don't think that dissolutions of marriage, although one person could have done the egregious act, is necessarily 100% one-sided.
I think that this was a mistake in her interview. I think that Howard Stern is really good at getting a moment out of someone. And right now, lately, there seems to be J.Lo hate train right now. So I feel like people are really looking to smear her right now. I don't know what the powers that be. If there was an Illuminati meeting or something where they're like, okay, it's J.Lo's turn to get dragged, because all of a sudden, all these old clips of her singing poorly. We know she's not a strong singer. She's an entertainer. She's a good dancer. She's a great actress. All of a sudden, it just seemed like a lot of negative press towards J.Lo. And I just think this is like one of the many things on a long list of anti-J.Lo things. And I think she did herself no favor by saying this. I think what she should have said, whether she feels that way or not, listen, we can all sit here and say it sounds ridiculous when you've been married 4 times and engaged 6 times. Clearly someone's loved you. Okay, J.Lo. And you may not have felt like it was successful because you're not with someone now. Like, I'm single now, right? So I could be like, oh man, I never really found the love of my life, but I was a bad picker. But also, her ex is coming out saying you cheated on me. I don't think it was a good PR move to put it on all of them. If she would have even softened that a little bit with, maybe I chose people that weren't capable of loving me the way I feel I needed. And maybe I have something to do with this as well, even a little bit like that. But to just only put it on them and nothing was ever you, it's going to rub people the wrong way. And right now, people are already kind of souring on you right now. So it didn't do you any favors. And I'm a J.Lo fan. I defend J.Lo as much as I can. But I was scrambling to try to find a way to defend her on this. Like, damn, how can I have her back? Because I do feel for her sometimes.
Yeah, it's kind of hard not to, although there are a lot of people who are like, oh no, I do it perfectly well. But it is hard anytime someone's experiencing a pile-on, and that's where it gets very difficult when you're in the commentary space, which you and I have been in forever, because it is literally your job to talk about the trending news. And a lot of times that means that you're talking about someone who other people are clearly talking about. And that's difficult. Like when I tell people, when I say to people, you do realize that 25 years of my life, I have only made a living giving my opinion. So that's like, that tells you that there's been a lot of different, like I've never paid rent or mortgage anywhere else. So that's what it is. But then when you get to a point where people are being just like abused for a long period of time, but that also is the reason why a lot of people won't issue like a retraction, because they feel like they have to retract everything. But I do think that retractions or clarifications can be very important, because we all know, I mean, I did it on the Breakfast Club. I misspoke about something that I did find to be important to clarify. And therefore I clarified it. Now, does the clarification, and you did the same thing, so does the clarification get as much light as the original thing? No, but that's the reason but that receipt is there. So if it gets to a point where people are unearthing it to be like, and this is what you said, then you could be like, I've addressed it, receipts, proof, timeline, addressed it, moved on, moving on again.
I just don't understand where she knows her exes and like how they behave, right? Like what is going to be a trigger? How did she not expect one of them to get mad and say, oh, word, really? And especially him, he probably feels the most offended because he was with at the very beginning. He probably feels a little left behind. And then she blows up into this huge international star. He's probably already has a feeling about it. Like, how did you not think he was not going to say something? And to say none of your exes love you. I would be offended if one of my exes said, oh, I feel like no one ever loved me. I'd be like, hold up. I loved your dirty draws. I loved you. I don't know.
But it also goes to show you, I bet you when she's talking about her exes, she's likely only talking about the famous ones. So that probably didn't even cross her mind.
Probably forgot about him.
Yeah. Well, Gia Brewer says she should have said they didn't love her the way she wanted to be loved. That's different.
Yeah.
Gina Lee Love You says, sounds like she needs to get away from the spotlight for a while and heal. She's overexposed.
Yeah, and people are really starting to come for her, and I don't want to see like, I don't know. I like J.Lo, and I think she's a fan. I love her acting. Selena, what was that maid in Brooklyn? When she played the maid, the housekeeper.
Yeah,
I like her as an actress. I think she's very
Maid in Manhattan or something.
Maid in Manhattan. I met her, took a picture with her. She was excellent. She was kind. She was sweet. She was a great dancer in her concert. I mean, a lot of the songs I didn't know, but she put like her all into her performance. She really did. And that woman's body is ridiculous.
Yes.
Come
yes.
on, J.Lo. J.Lo, you need some homegirls. You need to come on our next Vegas trip, J.Lo. I'm inviting you to come hang with us. We're going to talk. We're going to be your homegirls. Be like, nah, sis, you shouldn't say that because they're going to come for you. Right?
We are doing a Vegas trip too.
Yeah, we are.
That's the word on the street.
Oh, maybe we should have a meet and greet out there and invite some informers. Informers, would you go? Let us know in the comments.
I would love that. Yes, let us know.
All right. A mega church. Okay, this story is wild. A mega church pastor went off on a woman who donated $1,200 saying it wasn't enough. Yep, you heard that right. Take a look.
This seed of $1,000 plus $235 and receiving the blessings to come to all that participated.
Now that's only $1,200.
Yes.
Y'all not listening to what I'm saying. If you have 1,000 plus 1,000.
Well, I'm going to work on the other 800.
Well, that ain't what I asked you to do.
All right. Well, if you were that woman, what would you have said? And where's the line between faith and financial manipulation? Erica, what do you think?
I've seen that clip before. I just don't it just hits me so hard. It hits me really hard. Actually, I think because some situations have happened recently. And so I think I'm more sensitive to watching it now than when it first came out. Because especially seeing this Black woman of a certain age with, I'm assuming, her son or, a young child in her family. And she's brought him with her in order to show the gift of tithing and generosity to a religious establishment. To be shamed in that way and then made an example of, when, first of all, $1,200 is a lot of money. Secondly, it is a gift, it's a tithe, and it needs to be done generously and from a place of gratitude. You can't be grateful and generous if you are being shamed. And not only that, it adds to this culture of bullying in the Lord's house, because there is no greater, like, there's no greater onus on a lot of people who want to feel like they are contributing to their church community than the financial one. And I don't think that's right at all. That makes me actually physically ill, because it also goes into what you're doing at home and the idea of self-sacrifice. And when you're self-sacrificing to a certain degree, then you start to let things go. You fall behind on your mortgage, your rent, your car payment, all of these things for someone who is expressing greed, which I'm pretty sure is a sin, isn't it? Somebody help me.
Yeah, I believe that's one of the sins. And I will say this, $1,200, was that for a weekly tithe? So if we are to go by the math of what we hear, 10%, right? So do you think that this woman makes $12,000 a week? And you're pressuring her? I think this is disgraceful. I really do. I don't think there should be a dollar amount that they tell you that you have to give, because it feels like, what private jet are you trying to buy, sir? Like, what is this? You should give from the heart. And some weeks you may make good money, but you don't have it, because more money you have more problems. You have a lot of bills. Your taxes go up. I just don't like it. I remember during the election, the campaign, I was out there and I went to the church, and I remember they asked the congregation 3 times for money. And I felt so bad for these people. Like, I was clearly in an area where lower income, right? And they had QR codes. They were holding the thing right in front of you. They was like this waiting. And I just was like, you take away, when you give from the heart, you feel so happy. Like, here you go. It felt like it took away from that, like that beautiful feeling of I'm giving because I want to. It felt like an obligation and a demand. And I think that's wrong. And they get these poor, usually minority folks feeling like if they don't do it, they're not going to get blessed by the Lord. And you have to pay for blessings. And so, we've had conversations about what's happening in real life. I'm so sick and tired of people using people's faith, religion, and people looking for a greater thing to financially abuse them, all in the name of a higher power. And you are preying on people's naivety, weakness, or desire to have a beautiful afterlife, to get blessed. Poor people get blessed too, y'all, not just rich people who can pay for a blessing. And to believe that people only get blessed that can afford to pay $1,200, $2,000 is ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I want to share this because we want to add context to this. And thank you, Barbara Lucas. She said he had separated the givers based on the amount. She was on the wrong line. That's what it was about. It was still wrong. Barbara, thank you for sharing that with us. There's a way that
it's gross.
Right.
It's gross.
Yeah. There's a way that you speak to people. If she was in the wrong line, why make an example out of her? You're not her daddy, for starters, or maybe you are, but it doesn't appear that way. Let me tell you this too, and this just is peripheral to this entire topic. You do not get favor by being self-sacrificial to the point that people are taking advantage of you. And that applies in any category. You want to know where your biggest money blocks lie? It's the people that you are doing everything for, and they are taking, and they are not in any position or have any desire to reciprocate. Reciprocity is a very real thing. You will get rid of so many money blocks by getting rid of dead weight or unappreciative people. And those people, just like the devil, can show up in church.
Oh, they absolutely can. They sure can. Just like you can find the one in a nightclub or a strip club. I'm just saying, it's not the location. It's what's in your heart. All right. In Bravo land, Wendy Osefo is back on social media after her felony arrest. She thanked her fans for their support and love, saying, through it all, God remains faithful. Do you think Wendy's return to social media is a smart move right now? And what do you think her next move should be? And the bigger question, can Bravo stars who often aren't living the glamorous lives they show on TV ever really be honest? Or is there, there's a lot of pressure. I know this for a fact. There's a lot of pressure to keep up the look. So what do you think about her coming back to social media?
Well, I think she was contractually obligated to promote the show. She was wearing the same, the look that she had on in that episode. But it did come across as tone deaf because you obviously don't want to be in a situation where you're being accused of stealing and then show off things that people are pontificating the entire season are from stolen funds. So was there another way to do it? I think that there likely was, but I would also say that her coming back on period was a contractual obligation more than likely.
I mean, I'm going to say when I saw the picture, she looked fabulous, clearly in designer clothes and jewelry and everything. And first thing that crossed my mind was, ooh, I wonder if any of the pieces are in this picture. You know what I mean? Like, of course, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thought that, but the post went on about God, and it was like her and her husband posted, and we talked about this on Reality with the King. Like, I'm just tired of people using God after the facts, like maybe we need a little bit of that maybe before the alleged crimes. And I'm kind of tired of it. Again, innocent till proven guilty, but at this point in time, it's not looking good for her. But like, I feel like people use that to shut us up. Like you can't talk anything. You can't talk your shit about them because, they use the word God and Lord. And, if we go against that, we're not being good Christians ourselves. But I don't subscribe to thou shalt not judge. I feel like we have judgmental abilities because we are allowed to be judgmental. Who said that? Well, I don't.
I really appreciated the conversation that y'all had on Reality with the King on Monday night about this, because I think seeing 3 Black people have this conversation and the diversity of thought surrounding that conversation is very important, especially for those of us who grew up, it's either Black or white, and we've had to unlearn a lot of these ideologies and thoughts while also trying to hold on to our spirituality and our religion. I know a lot of people have shied away from the church because of a lot of hypocrisy that they experienced growing up. And now we have a lot of new age versions and people who choose to have a personal walk with God. And however you choose to perform or not perform your religion, that is 100% you. What I will say about this is that this story, just in context of being on reality TV and the presentation of what is going out, has had a lot of people unapologetically and for good reason pocket watching openly. And I don't think that pocket watching is a bad thing, because when the math is not mathing on these reality TV shows, but you are acting as if you are better than the people who are watching, it's always so ironic to me, because this keeping up with the Joneses thing is only to disparage and make people who can't keep up with the Joneses feel less than. Because guess what? The Joneses already know you ain't got it. You know how the Joneses know you ain't got it? Because the Joneses got it. And they know what it looks like. And what you're doing is not what it looks like. So that always makes me so like super invested, because I'm like, oh, you want people who are likely in your same position to feel like they're less than you. Yeah. And then you want to try to prove to people who are above you in socioeconomic status that you're one of them. But they know, because there's context clues. This is a 360 conversation versus a 180. And that's the gag of it all. But what I will say is the pocket watchers of social media, I love it, because I'm really I'm like, do I go there? Do I not go there? Because I'm like, for me, this is how the game is played. All of these the clothing, the designer, all of these things are not necessary to live in your closet. Okay. I purged my closet because I have 4 closets And all 4 of them were filled with my crap. It took me days to purge all of this stuff. And I am just in a time in my life where the material items just don't mean as much to me. So if I want to have a hot girl night, or if I want to have a dignitary type night, that's easily rented. And with a stylist, which people don't understand, a stylist can come at any budget. But when you have a stylist and they are picking your clothing, or you're purchasing them or you're borrowing them, then you are paying them as an independent contractor, which is a lot different than trying to say, oh, I work at such and such place and I have to buy these clothes, and you get audited, because that's not how taxes work. So I'm thinking about coming up with a whole like watch these pockets segment, because I got so many tips and tricks.
Yeah. And Wendy could use them, as well as some of the others on Atlanta, on Basketball Wives, on some of the others, like several of them. I could use them. We could all use them. All right. You're listening to Accidentally Informed. Listen, at the end of the show, I'm sorry, I lost my place here. Live TV. Okay. I'm with my co-host Erica Cobb, and last week we kicked off our very first live event, and it was incredible. Our friend Dustin Ross, of course, as we said earlier, was in Denver, and he was definitely well received. They loved him. The energy was amazing. Now, at the end of the show, we took audience questions, which is always my favorite part. Like, I'm always like, can we get more? I know Megan's like, Claudia, stop asking people for questions. I'm like,
we got some great ones, though.
We did.
All of them were great.
We also had some viewers tuning in online, and we have questions that we did not get to. So today we're taking a moment to answer those questions. Let's start with Sherelle Ward, who asked, does anyone think Kenya will be back on Real Housewives of Atlanta? What do you think?
I want to know what you think, Claudia, because you have a more holistic understanding of this.
I think she will. I think the only reason she's not on it because is she's probably involved in the legal battle with the whole Brit Edie thing. And I think when that gets resolved, either a settlement or a payout, or it gets just dropped, I think then we can have our Kenya back. I think she's needed on the show. I mean, the show was fun this past season, but let's be clear, Kenya Moore is very much a staple of that show, an anchor. She's funny. Her views are missed, and the way she steers the pot. And I think hopefully we just have to wait a little bit longer, and she'll be back on. I think she deserves to be on there.
I hope that she gets. I look at Kenya like I look at a professional athlete who has been in the game for a long time, and that is someone who has created a template for how the game is played. And then they end up on injury reserve, and that's how they are retired out for the rest of their career. I want Kenya Moore to be able to step out on her own terms, or in a more dignified way. I did not like the way that she was pulled last season. I think for everything that she has brought to the table, she deserves to be treated in a way that is, really having to do with everything she's brought to this franchise. So I'm going to say, get our girl off of IR. Let's get full seasons with her, and then she can decide when she's going to end it, or maybe there will be a natural progression that we can see her out.
I agree, because I'm like, really? And all that over a Brit who ended up not finishing the season, and then all this stuff.
That's a really great example of what happens when you give people too much too fast, because you don't have any value for what that is when you've gotten it that way.
Did you see Brit's name on that list? That boxer that put that list out that said he filled out the toxic male like a questionnaire, and asked them like who was his best sex, worst sex, who gave him the best head, and he had Brit Edie on there as one of his best sexual partners. Is it Adrian Bronner? I think it was, allegedly.
Oh, wow.
I'll send it to you.
What kind of survey is this?
Toxic. It's like a toxic male survey.
Oh, okay. It has toxic in it. Got it.
Yeah, he's definitely being toxic. And I'm like, shut up. Even though I'm not a fan of Brit, I don't think that's cute to put her out there, especially she's a married woman now. All right. Let's see. Next up, we have Angie Ringo, who wants to know, why do you think K. Michelle is going at Drew Sidora so hard? And when will Drew finally get the respect she deserves? What do you think about that? Why do you think there's a thing between Drew and K. Michelle?
Well, first of all, I appreciate both of these women. I don't know K Michelle as much as, we've gotten to know Drew as an audience member. Also, I just have like I'm not saying I pick one over the other. I think that this is good that we're getting this type of stuff before the season drops because it builds anticipation. And some of it might have to do with that. It's the theatrics of it all. But here's the issue with Drew. And I relate to it a lot because Drew and I are both from Chicago and we have very Midwest sensibilities. And a lot of people will confuse our kindness for weakness. And that's where people get it twisted because it takes a lot, seemingly, to get things out of Drew, like that type of reaction. And she constantly tempers herself and you can see it. And maybe I'm seeing it more because that's how I react to things. I'm never going to come in at a 10 until you start some and then there's going to be some, because I guarantee your 10, when you think that my 2 is a 10, will be quite shocking to you when I actually get to a 10, because then you didn't even understand that I had that in me. People learn this on a regular basis, and they'll continue to until they stop trying me. And that's Drew. So I think that that's the issue. Drew has this very Midwest sensibility. She keeps it tight into the vest. She also is a, former child star. So there is a way and a demeanor that she was brought up to have this type of longevity in her career. So we're playing with, it's two different things in a lot of situations here.
I don't like that Drew for years has seemed to be like an easy target that people just go for and they think that's the way to do it, to not have to confront any other housewives. Like, we'll just pick Drew. And I'm still wanting to hear what the issue is with Drew, why people tend to come for her. They'll say, well, she's a liar. Okay, well, tell me how her alleged lies have affected your life. Did she do something to you? Did she take your man? Like, what is it? Because like I've been around her, I did a movie with her, and if I just went by what I heard on blogs, I'd be like, oh, she's a terrible person. But I'm like, and a huge liar. But that's not been my experience in my dealings with her. I just feel like when a few other people do it, it's easy to just jump on that same bandwagon. I have a couple of things that are said about me that people that don't even know me, if they get into it with me, the first thing they'll say is they'll repeat something they heard. And that doesn't mean it's true that because you've heard it before. I hope they get it together. I don't know if it's they're both singers. I don't know. It seems like when two people do the same thing on these shows, that it tends to be some issues. Like, there was a thing with Shamia and Drew for a minute, and Portia before, and was it Shamia about the singing? Hey, ladies, there's a lot of different slots for singers. We don't just need to have one. Kim Zolciak was a singer.
Yeah, we had this discussion
Candy.
on the live.
Even Kenya put out a song. You know what I mean? Like, come on.
Yeah, collaborative money is the best money. Get it together, ladies. We want to see this tour.
I agree. Hey, before we wrap, because we're going to get out here a little early today, if you love behind the scenes tea, extended interviews and all the merch, and that's when we actually get a little bit extra in there. It's kind of like Accidentally Informed After Dark. Make sure you check out our Patreon. We've got exclusive drops and extras you won't find anywhere else. And a huge shout out to our amazing supporters on Patreon: Sylvia W., Malibu Kelly, Nicole W., and Daniel D. We love you, and we thank you for being members of our page. Again, we have cute merch. We just did a photo shoot. We have Accidentally Informed sweatshirts. We have the mock neck, and we have the off the shoulder. Super cute. Good job on getting those made. I really like them.
Oh my gosh. Well, yours is being sent to you because we forgot to give it to you when you were in Denver. So that got mailed out on Monday. You'll be receiving it soon. Also, we had to give a shout out to Zane, sorry. Like, I'm thinking of two different things in my head. The photographer, the photos that you'll see from our promo shoot, she is absolutely amazing. And also, y'all missed a lot by not being at the live. That's the reason why we need to know where we should have the next live, because we had Lot 001 brands with the alcohol. It was a hosted bar. People were surprised that we had a hosted bar with all Accidentally Informed themed cocktails. So shout out to them, and Cherry's Cheesecakes and DJ Cleopatra Jones and the whole team at Comeback TV Presents. Like, it was just amazing. So yes, please check out the Patreon and get yourself some merch because it is limited.
Speaking of Comeback TV Presents, we also have some big news, right, from the team. Tell us about it.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay, Informers. I don't often talk about the other stuff that we do at Comeback TV Presents, but we have a joint venture project called Positive Energy Campaign. And the goal of Positive Energy Campaign is to bring awareness about climate, energy, and sustainability and how energy works for you. So we are so honored to announce that we are a finalist for the Anthem Awards under the Sustainability, Environment, and Climate Awareness category. We are up against heavy hitters with far bigger budgets than we have. So we are asking for your support. So if you can vote and just give us, they call it a celebration, give us a celebration because this platform in the next year, I'm hoping opens up so many opportunities for our community to understand how they too can make a living and find new career paths utilizing some of the skill sets they already have, because there are like there's a need for like 500,000 jobs in the energy space, and that's in all energy: green, wind, oil and gas, solar. And I know a lot of you are looking for new opportunities, so I am so hoping that we get to a place where we can bring you more opportunities with Positive Energy Campaign. So thank you for supporting.
Always, Erica, always doing something fantastic for society. I love it. Thank you so much. Keep up the good work. All right, y'all, don't forget, please support Comeback TV and Erica and all the fantastic things she's got going on. Also, make sure you watch Tamron Hall show tomorrow. Your girl will be on it, and you'll see a little clip from our show. I'm super excited. So thank you for always watching. Thanks for supporting Informers. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe so you don't miss out. We will see you back here next week, and make sure you drop in the comments, where should we bring our live show to next? Erica, this was fun. It's great to see you as always.
It was fun, and congratulations. I can't wait to see you on Tamron tomorrow.
Me too. All right, y'all. See you next time.
Put it on, girl. Let me see it. Put it on, girl. Let me see it.